Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Clock Out to Piss, who says, I, 26 male, think my 24 female girlfriend is cheating on me with my best friend because of Wi-Fi. It starts. So, using an old throwaway for obvious reasons. But basically, my girlfriend and I have been dating for a bit over a year now, and have been seriously considering moving in together. Last night we decided to go out for dinner to discuss it. We decided that I would move in with her once my lease is up in April. I texted my best friend, let's call him Jake, to tell him the good news. He told us he wanted to buy us a few drinks and us all crash at his place to celebrate. He said we could just meet at his house and then Uber to the bar. We figured, why not, right? He met her numerous times and we all get along really well, but always while out somewhere or at my place, never his house. Well, we get to his house and my girlfriend says she really needs to use the bathroom before we start drinking. So her and I run inside. She sets her phone and purse on his table and she runs into the bathroom. My buddy stayed outside in case the Uber showed up. My girlfriend's phone went off and she asked me to check to see if it was her friend finally getting back to her about coming with us or not. My buddy is single and she told me she would try and hook them up. Well, when I turned on her screen, I noticed that it showed it was connected to a Wi-Fi network. I checked on my own phone and all the Wi-Fi networks there have passcodes. I'm trying to see if maybe there's any reasonable explanation before I jump to conclusions. I was thinking maybe she used to date an ex that lives nearby, but she just replaced her phone about 3 or so months ago because her old one broke. I don't know what to do. I don't want to risk losing my girlfriend and possibly my best friend just because I'm freaking out about something so small. I don't know if I'm ready to lose both of them at the same time. Yeah, that seems pretty damning. The only thing that popped into my head is maybe they had some sort of relationship in the past before you two met. I mean, that brings up another question. Why wouldn't either of them mention their history if that was the case? So probably not, but just try to think of other reasons why. As far as I know, you have to connect when you connect with a password, etc. As far as I know, phones don't automatically connect to Wi-Fi. I don't know if there's options these days or not, but whenever I've connected to Wi-Fi, I've had to manually do it through my phone, etc. I think you simply have to ask the question, your phone's connected to Jake's Wi-Fi. Have you spent time together before? And then see that response. But there was some interesting information in the top comment. Red Ball says, it sounds like you're not sure if it was actually his Wi-Fi. It just connected to some Wi-Fi. Okay, so a few things. One, when people replace their phones, their Wi-Fi passwords are often copied over. So the fact that she replaced her phone 3 months ago is irrelevant. Two, Xfinity, I'm assuming it's a provider of some sort. My phone automatically connects to lots of Wi-Fi networks because of Xfinity, so we have Xfinity service at our house, and that comes with a login. Now, when I'm at a friend's house with Xfinity, my phone will auto-connect to Xfinity Wi-Fi connections. This is like a special guest network that is created by default. If she has Xfinity or a friend does who gave her the login, her phone might have connected to Xfinity networks nearby, which there often are. There could be similar services like this too. It's possible that she joined the Wi-Fi on your friend's network after some affair, and obviously people do sometimes cheat with their boyfriend's friend. But there are so many other explanations here. And there was a few comments talking about there's some providers that have this auto-connect stuff. I must be so out of touch, I didn't even know. But Bunk says, it's certainly possible, but damn bro, there are a load of other possibilities too. No need to jump straight to that conclusion. I would ask both of them separately about it and see how they react, but honestly, it's probably some other Wi-Fi network from her old phone. Soul Rebel says, what I keep coming back to is, why would she ask you to check her phone if she was or is hooking up with someone? Was it Jake's Wi-Fi or some other random one? What if it's a business, or did it look like a personal network? Those could be helpful clues. But I think asking you to check her phone is telling. Most cheaters, at least from what I read on here, are more likely to start getting more secretive and private with their phones. You're probably being paranoid, but ask her about the Wi-Fi in a very casual way if it's really bothering you. Just something like, "Hey babe, what was that Wi-Fi network you was connected to? Hadn't realized you'd been over to this area before." Nothing accusatory, just a question about something that you noticed as you were doing something she told you to do. And then the majority of the comments after that one were saying OP's just being paranoid in this situation, how you jump into this conclusion, etc. But at some point later, OP did come in with an update and says, "Since my update post was removed and locked, I'd figured I'd post it here for those who were curious and didn't get a chance to read the update. I also want to say thank you to everyone and their advice. It's better at least knowing the truth though, than trying to ignore that gut feeling and intuition. I've taken a few days for myself. I read most of the comments and I realized something. Sorry for not updating you guys sooner. I spoke with her 2 nights ago and was just straightforward and honest. I told her about how I saw that her phone had connected to Wi-Fi and I wasn't sure why it did that. She got quiet and didn't say anything for what felt like an eternity. Then she said she wasn't sure what it would have connected to. Maybe a local shop or something. I would have maybe accepted this, but I realized that when we got back that night, she went to get a glass of water. I was sitting in the kitchen and the very first cabinet she opened was the glasses. It could have been a coincidence, but at that point, I doubt it. She broke down and confessed that she had spent a couple of nights with him a few weeks ago. That he had hit her up on Facebook and that they only talked on there. She said it was a mistake and purely physical for fun. It's a lot to process right now. I've shut them both out and I'm just trying to get a better hold on my feelings and emotions. I feel betrayed by both of them." Commenter says to OP, "Just read your original post and wow, I never would have thought that much about the Wi-Fi thing. I'm sorry this happened to you. Your best friend is an absolute arsehole and so is this girl. I certainly hope she's your ex now. Time to move on and make better friends. I can't imagine how you're feeling, but know that it will get better." OP responded and said, "It's hard, but I'm glad I found out before we moved in together. I think it isn't even her that hits the hardest. Like part of everyone I think expects or at least knows a partner cheating on them is a possibility. But whoever thinks their best friend would? Especially because she said he initiated the contact. Like that hurts me more than anything. I don't even know if she's being honest that he initiated it, but it's going to make it difficult for me to trust again. Not sure how I can get over this one." Initial says, "How did she not need to ask where the bathroom is?" OP says, "I looked past the whole bathroom thing but realized after reading your comment that she knew exactly where his glasses were at the end of the night too." Someone says, "Why did she ask him to check her phone and not worry?" OP says, "I thought about this one for a while. I don't know the passcode to her phone. It just shows if she got a new Snapchat or text or whatever, but I thought about how she asked me to check it for her. She probably knew he wasn't messaging her at the time, since we were all together, so she felt comfortable with asking me to check it." Another commenter says about when asked to clarify what she meant by it was just physical. OP says she just said it was all physical with him, like not emotional. She was trying to say we can move past it because it's not like she loves him, that it was just for fun, that there weren't any feelings or anything involved. I never understand when people say that in these stories, like it was just physical, that's all it was. Like that makes anything fucking better. Just like, oh, congratulations, you had meaningless sex with my best friend behind my back. Like that somehow makes it any better. If anything, it makes it worse because it's just like you're willing to blow up everything over something that meant nothing to her. I mean, what the hell? And I guess the silver lining to this is that, yeah, that you did find all this out before you moved in together. Absolutely brutal though, but what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from a throwaway account, and it says, "My 27 female says she, 27 female, won't set me up with a male friend because I cheated on her brother 4 years ago. Should I still pursue things anyway?" Background: my friend Amina and I have been friends since kindergarten. There was a point in time where I considered her my best friend. In high school, I started dating her younger brother, Sean. We dated for about 6 years. We had a great relationship and I messed up. I did. Now, not to justify what I did. Sean did ROTC, Google says Reserve Officers Training Corps in college and eventually commissioned into the National Guard. During his first year in the Guard, he was extremely busy. He had his military duties, on top of that his regular 9-to-5 job. In a moment of selfishness, I met a really attractive guy, and the next thing I know, I'm cheating on my fiancée at the time. I was a selfish person and I figured he would never find out. Well, the guy I was cheating with ended up stalking myself and Sean, so Sean found out. It was a messy situation and I hate that I put him through that. Sean broke off the engagement and he still refuses to speak with me. Amina stopped being my friend, but we reconnected a year ago when we bumped into each other at the airport lounge. She got permission from Sean to rekindle our friendship, but Sean still refuses to speak with me, unfortunately. I can't say Amina and I are best friends like we used to be, but we are friends. Now, recently Amina had a birthday dinner with her boyfriend plus all of her friends. Her male friend Ron is extremely attractive, put together, great shape, good job, etc. Today I called her during lunch break to ask her for Ron's contact and to put in a good word for me. She said no and asked me not to date him. She said he's a good friend, and after what happened with her brother, she doesn't want to go through that again. I told her I'm a changed person and she contradicted herself, saying she believes me but still doesn't want me dating her friend. It's just weird. I'm not sure whether I should get his contact information some other way or just accept it. I just don't think she has the right to prevent me from dating her friend. I just don't get in this situation how the OP is not taking a step back and how this looks to everyone else what she's trying to do here. It seems like she's missing the major red flags in her own story, that she cheated on Amina's brother during an engagement that destroyed I don't know how many relationships. And then you had this golden opportunity to rekindle your friendship, get that second chance, which was already incredibly generous in my opinion, and everything that's happened was so damaging she had to get permission from her brother first. And the fact that, Sean still won't even speak to you says how much of a lasting impact this has had on him. And after, Amina wants to protect her friendship, etc., she's concerned, she doesn't want the past to happen again. She can't control you, but still from your perspective and everything that's happened in the past, if that was me, and I would have taken a step back and said, look, oh yeah, I can see that. Good point. Let's not risk the friendship that we've just started building once again. And if I was in Amina's position, I'd want to protect friendships as well based on that past. Basically, if you want to show that you've really changed, just show it by respecting the boundary that she's putting in place. I don't think it's that difficult. But there was a lot of comments and responses from the OP. The first one said, she's valid. You romantically hurt someone she loves, and if she loves this friend, I think it's fair for her to worry about you having a romance with him as well. OP says, I did that when I was young and dumb. I was in my early 20s at the time. I've bettered myself. I already faced the consequences of my poor actions. Another commenter says, you don't care about Sean and you haven't changed. You lament that Sean still refuses to speak to you. You can't leave him alone because the only thing that matters is what you want. Of course, Sean doesn't want to talk to you. Do you understand what you did to him? Do you understand emotional pain? Your former friend has asked you to leave her friend alone. What she wants or needs doesn't matter to you. You invalidate her feelings as being unreasonable, yet you prove that you can't be trusted. You didn't cheat once and now you're all better. You prove that because you're still behaving selfishly. That's who you are. Everyone knows this. Ron knows it. All her other friends know it. Sean knows it. All Sean's friends know it. And you're still harassing him. How do you think it feels for him to be moving on and trying to live his life and have you popping up from time to time with your, hey, remember me and how I betrayed you and broke your heart? Jesus, that's so clueless. You don't believe that your former friend has the right to prevent you from dating her friend. She doesn't have the right to tell the truth to her friend. She doesn't have the right to care about her friend. Actually, she has a responsibility to warn him about you. If you were self-aware, you'd understand that. You need a therapist who can help you understand yourself. Opie says you're partially right. I need to let Sean go. You're wrong to say I don't care about him. I care about him and I always will. The commenter replies that saying, no you don't. You never did. You cared for him like I care for a massage therapist. I love what they do for me and miss them when we part. But it's a one-way relationship. Letting him go implies that you somehow have him, that you're important to him. You're no more than an STD he caught years ago. He's cured now. You're just a stain on his memory. Opie says, I'm tired of people telling me how I feel about Sean. I love Sean. There's a reason I get legitimately happy when I hear the great things he is doing. I love him. It was 4 months after this that Opie posted elsewhere, and the title was, How Can I Fight to Get My Ex Back? And says, years ago when I was younger, I made the worst decision of my life and cheated on the love of my life / fiance. I messed up and I love him so much. I lost so much because of that stupid ass fucking mistake. That man that I love is my friend's brother. Throughout the time, her and I stopped being friends after my fuck up, but we rekindled. She's getting married in June. It'd be the first time I've seen Sean since we split. I'm ready to win him back, but I don't know. And there were some comments with replies, and you can imagine Opie getting roasted again. Top commenter said, you don't. There are millions of good matches out there. You take what you learned and you find somebody new. You deserve happiness, and he deserves to have the painful past in the past. You can't control yourself. Don't go to the wedding. If you remain convinced, then intend to still go and try. You really need to ask yourself why you're obsessed with this idea. You're allowed to move on from your mistakes and find love. There is no single person that is the one for us. So why the obsession? Opie says no one can ever replace the history we had. His sister was my best friend growing up. Him and I were childhood friends, high school sweethearts. I just want one more chance. Someone says, what happened with Ron? Opie says, I respected my friend's boundaries like you all told me to. A different commenter comes in and says, what makes you think she would want you to try for a second chance with her brother that you cheated on? Another commenter comes in and says, and we're saying the same thing about Sean, so are you going to listen to us and then blame us for your issues again? Or are you going to take responsibility and accountability for once in your life? Edit. Also a little gross that you're blaming us for you having to respect your friend's boundaries. You not already know to do that. Strange that you'd need advice to do that, but you're back here about Sean and you straight cheated on him, so I guess I can't expect any amount of common sense from someone like you. Opie replied saying, my first post I asked whether I should talk to Ron or not. This post I'm not asking whether I should talk to him or not because I will. I'm asking how. Even Sean's sister said he still has lingering feelings for me, which is why she felt it'd be disrespectful to set me up with Ron. But keep thinking you know it all. Commenter replies saying, baby girl, let me tell you, I've read your first post and you sound weird as hell. This post you sound even weirder. Want to know how to approach Sean? Easy. Don't. Leave the man alone or suffer the wrath of a scorned man and your best friend for choosing to prioritize your selfishness over a wedding. Never mind that she herself chose to ask permission from Sean to talk to you at all, while he has remained steadfast in his resolve to not talk to you for months. By the way, I know a lot more than you, clearly. Never cheated, even when I was young. Funny how that works, isn't it? I spend my time on Reddit reposting stories like yours to subreddits for people to mock. You spend your time writing the stories people mock. I have my soulmate next to me. What do you have again, besides your delusions and your selfishness? OP replied saying that was cruel. And a commenter says, why should you get another chance? OP said, because I'm going to spend the rest of my life being the best partner he can ever ask for. The commenter replies again saying, why didn't you become the best partner you can be for someone you didn't betray? OP says, because I know who my soulmate is. The commenter says, people don't cheat on their soulmates. OP says, people do a lot of dumb shit when they are young. I was young at the time. And the commenter says, how does that excuse it? Everyone is young at some point. Most of them don't cheat on their soulmates. You don't get a special pass. OP says, I'm not excusing it, just pointing out people do change and it was a long time ago. And the commenter says, no it wasn't. Gee whiz, OP did take a beating in those comments, but I was going back to the first part of the post again after this one because just thinking about OP wanted to get with this Ron person and said to her friend that to put in a good word. What good word was she expecting her to put in with the past history? Can you just imagine Amina going up to Ron and saying, hi Ron, my friend's really interested into you. And Ron's going to turn around and go, oh, so where did you guys meet? How do you know each other? Oh yeah, she's a great friend of mine, but she also cheated on my brother when they were engaged. I mean, what the fuck's she expecting? But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's have another story. Now, our next story is from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. No update is yet, but there's a little bit of neighbor drama from recent Flatworm1557, and it asks, am I the arsehole? Ask the neighbor to move their little farm stand because people are stealing from my garden. It starts off, before anyone says just build a fence, we can't afford it right now. And no HOA. My neighbor set up one of those pantries/farm stands where people can take items they grew in their garden. Pantry stuff, donated stuff, etc. In theory, it's a great idea, and especially in a time when life in America sucks ass and people are struggling to make ends meet, my family included. The problem, people started coming into my yard to pick things in my garden. I put signs saying not to do it. I installed rabbit fence around the garden. I've angled the tarp so you can't see what's there from the road. People just hold their kids over the fence to pick tomatoes and beans or jump it. I ended up getting into an argument with a lady over it. I yelled, "Hey, stop! Those are not for you to take." She told her kid to move faster and then tried to run away. I caught up to her and asked what the fuck her problem was, and she turned into, how dare I swear in front of her child? Why am I so angry? And am I really upset about a couple of tomatoes? I said I'm upset that you're stealing from me. The next day, I approached my neighbor. I asked if I could maybe help move it to the other side of the driveway so it's next to the other neighbor's house. They didn't have a garden out front. They said at least not until the end of the season. I asked if they could make larger signs, talk to people, just do something. They were like, can you really not afford to share? I said that they aren't taking my zucchini because they're starving. They're taking my tomatoes because they want them. They said I'm going to have to learn to live with it for now and we can talk about a solution together that will benefit the whole community after. I said I do not care about a solution that benefits the whole community. I care about a solution that stops people from stealing from me. So last night it happened again. Man in his 50s. I sprayed his ass with a hose. He started yelling at me, and after a minute or so, the neighbor came out yelling at me too. People have posted on the neighborhood board to be careful if they come by because I'm an arsehole. The neighbor says I'm scaring people away from a community resource. I told him that I'm going to continue until he does something about the fucking thieves who feel entitled to my garden. I feel like I'm losing my fucking mind here. Am I the arsehole for asking them to move it? Am I the arsehole for being pissed off that people are fucking stealing from me? This is food for my family. First off, thanks for the responses. I got some good ones. I'm happy that so many of you live in places where the cops would do anything about this, but this isn't the reality I'm living. Cops here would not give a shit if I sent them a video of someone picking from my garden. They would laugh in my face. Be thankful you live in a place where the police are useful. It looks like signs are the best option for now. Going to make signs indicating heavy use of pesticides and repeating that they are stealing food from the mouths of hungry children. I don't know why the signs we already have up aren't enough. Maybe more will help. I'm sure they won't. We'll also scour Craigslist for free fencing or similar items. Hopefully that pans out. I totally get what Opie is saying about the police in this situation. I imagine lots of people will be mentioning calling the police, but it's not always the perfect solution, is it? I mean, I'm from the UK, I know there's stories from the US, but if you've heard the stories that I've spoken about the area that I used to live, you know, it'd have to be something major for the police to come round for us. Drug dealing, fighting, weapons. I've seen all that sort of stuff where police just don't even bother turning up, even after it's been reported several times. They're just saying, you know, it's not always the perfect solution. I'm just thinking, what an arsehole neighbor, you know. You offered a compromise about moving it, even helping them to move it so, you know, people don't know to take from your garden if that's what's actually going on. They just don't seem to give a shit. The top comment from General said on this one, can you replace your stolen items from the farm stand? Each time someone takes from your garden, you take from the garden stand. And I thought, absolutely, yeah, go with that one. Another solution is to go, you know, Mrs. Bucket, have one of those sprinklers with a sensor on so when someone comes in, they get a dousing. Again, I know there's costs involved with that, but you know, I like the thought of it. Hyper Kangaroo says, not the arsehole. They are literally volunteering your garden as a community veggie resource. That's why it's next to your garden. It is incredibly inappropriate. Yuli says take all the food off the stand first thing after it's put out and donate it to a food kitchen. If the stand is empty, people will be less likely to stop and notice your garden. The neighbor may also decide it is a good idea to move the stand away from you. Specific says hose your neighbor too, not the arsehole. And one more comment from Aggressive C who says, wow, the neighbors want to build community resources, but then doesn't care when it is negatively impacting his actual community. His next door neighbor. If I were OP, I'd be going over to the stand daily and fully raiding it so nothing was left. If the community keeps showing up to an empty stand, eventually they give up. Then put a sign in your yard that says, garden under surveillance, theft will be prosecuted, and point a camera at it. If you can't afford a good security cam right now, get a cheap Blink one from Amazon. It's small but will still record through a window and can be set to motion detection. I have one pointed at my car through my front window because I park in my apartment parking lot. It may not stop the stealing from actual assholes who don't care, but it'll help deter it. And if you do collect footage from people stealing from you, can create a police report with your local non-emergency police saying that activities in your neighbor's front yard have been causing theft to yours. You have proof to show and request that the police talk to the neighbor. They might refuse, but it's worth a shot. Definitely not the arsehole. Sometimes you standing up for yourself is seen as you being the bad guy. Ignore the neighbor and keep feeding your family. Absolutely, but how would you deal with this situation? Maybe you got another solution for OP. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. Truly, thank you so much for being here, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.